Yo, what's up? Video 11, let's organize right now. Excited? I thought so. The last video was, task 10, complete the sentences. So don't get task 10 confused with this one, which is complete the passage.
Don't do it.
Like many things, it has many names. Some people call me Mike. The boys call me Mikey, but that's another story. Now, the whole passage is missing, lacking, needing a sentence. So, it's actually a lot. You might get tired from doing this one. It says you have 7 to 8 minutes. That's roughly 1 minute per passage. So you will have to really focus. Move quickly, but focus. Which, for me, oh my God, I hate reading. I hate reading so much. So I could not do this one. It's a no for me. Block. Also important to know is you may recognize one of the passages from task 10. Here's our first example for today, and you'll notice it's the same passage from my last video, task 10. The only difference is there's a couple more sentences at the end, to become a complete the passage task. So I guess you'll know pretty quickly if your answers for task 10 were correct or not. Okay, let's do our examples. Let's do example 1, the butterflies passage from last time. Here it is. Okay, take a minute, read the paragraph, and then we'll talk, okay? Of course, the first tip, the main tip you always learn with these types of questions is what's before the blank? What's after the blank? Obviously. But here, with this specific question, that's kind of all you need. If you look before the blank, what do we have? The focus is number. Fewer than 1 in 10. After the passage, the focus is number. Scientists say the low number is because blah, 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 blah. So the answer is A. This is the lowest number they have seen in 25 years because the focus is number. But there are other reasons this is true as well. I'm going to come back, explain those a little later. So for now, let's look at the other options. Okay, B, in 1961, the species was found to be extinct. If we look at the entire passage, the passage focuses on butterflies. When? Now. It's informational, all of the tenses are present simple or we have a present perfect. And if we look at the sentence before the blank, maybe we do have a past tense. Scientists counted the number of butterflies. Oh, this year. Why are we in 1961? We're not. Then we look at C, but how great a toll might humans have taken on the butterfly? Who wrote this? Who wrote? Gross. So humans and their impact on butterflies, yeah, that's of course a possible scenario. But again, we have to work with what we have in the passage. And this idea is not relevant in this passage. So it has not been introduced anywhere, so it's kind of random. It does look like this question could begin a new section of the article. The problem with this is the sentence after the blank is still related to the sentence before the blank, so it wouldn't make sense to introduce a new topic in the middle. D is the hardest option to cut out or eliminate. It looks okay-ish, but here's why it doesn't work. But. And it's a big but. No, why do we use but? It's a conjunction of contrast. So usually we have like a positive idea and then but and then a negative idea. For example, I won the beauty competition, but I had to push a girl down the stairs. Worth it. The sentence before the blank is kind of negative. Fewer than 1 in 10 spent the winter in Mexico. Like, they didn't make it. So, having a but here is kind of weird. Now, the other reason that A is the answer is a little more detailed. This and they. When you do questions like this, like ordering or something, sequence, something like that. Always pay attention to your demonstrative adjectives, this, that, these, those. And pay attention to any pronouns, subject or object. In this case, they. Who is they? The scientists. And before the blank, scientists connects to option A. And after the blank, the word scientists easily connects to they. So always pay attention to pronouns. And this, what does this refer to? The lowest number. 1 out of 10 is a low number, so that's another easy connection. This, that, these, those, gold for these types of questions. Now I'm gonna do another example, but only because passage number 2 connects very nicely to my tip number 3. Here it is. Take a minute, pause, read it, try it, and then we'll talk. Teacher, what's an electrical fuse? I don't know. Do I look like an electrician to you? Don't answer that. Here. It's some type of like protection from an electrical surge, strong electric waves that are moving through a wire or something. I don't know. Google is free. Anyways, let's look at the choices. The most important word here is however. So what is tip number 3? You guessed it. Pay close attention to transitions. Transitions or connecting words. Technically, in grammar, we call them linking adverbs, but they contain very important information. Here's your grammar lesson for the day. They tell us if the next sentence is going to be adding information or in this case, and actually my favorite types of transitions, because yes, I have favorites, contrast or opposite ideas. He couldn't figure out what he had done wrong is a negative idea. I mean, there's a not. He could not, so grammatically it's negative. This means the sentence before, however, should be grammatically and logically positive. So let's look at our options. Option 2, he had been fired. Well, that's negative. There's no not or never, but it is a negative idea, right? Chop. We can't have a negative, however, and then a negative. Doesn't work. Option 4, we can use our pronoun tip, work. Before the blank, everything is singular. He replaced the fuse. He rewired the outlet. He blew another fuse. So who is them? Like, who would them be? It doesn't work. Chop. Okay, so then we have 2 choices left. So now we have to look at the content. He blew another fuse. Me, negative. He realized he made a mistake, so he checked his work. That's positive. He's trying. However, so we need a negative. He couldn't figure out what he had done. When you put it all together, this makes sense. It works grammatically and it works logically. The first option works grammatically. He could fix things and make them better, but the content is just not as logical as option 3. And by the way, this option is double tricky. They're using inversion, not only, but. So most of the time, not grammatically is negative. But when we use inversion, it's not. Oh my God. You guys must hate English grammar. I'm so sorry. Study inversion. It's just a weird grammar concept. But not only does she do this, but she does that too. This is one situation where not is not necessarily negative. Okay, so the most important part of this video is now. Tip 1, check for pronouns. It, they, he.
She, me, her, she does.
Tip 2, check for demonstrative adjectives, this, that, these, those. Tip 3, check for more keywords, transitions, linking adverbs. And tip 4, check for logical content. But part of tip 4 is try tips 1, 2, and 3 first. The reality is on tests, it'll take you much less time to figure answers out if you have the keywords. You can pick out, you can see pronouns or demonstrative adjectives or transitions, especially transitions because of the comma, very quickly, you know? Oh, on the contrary. Oh, on the other hand. Oh, they. You're prepared, so you know what to look for. But content, it's always different, right? It depends on the passage. So if you can't find any of the other keywords, you have to check for content, which means you have to slow down, take time, you know, maybe reread the passage. It's very time consuming. So just hope and pray that they'll have some type of keyword.
Escucha las palabras de las brujas, los secretos escondidos en la noche.
And finally, if you would like more practice with this type of question, since it's very hard to find DET materials, lucky you. The TOEFL and the Cambridge exams both use these types of questions in their reading sections. For Cambridge, you can look up the gapped text readings, and you should be able to recognize which questions are like this. For the TOEFL, usually TOEFL passages will just have like one of these types of questions. So, you know, you can get some good vocab and reading practice with the other questions, but you can expect just maybe one per TOEFL reading passage. These are called sequence questions. Okay, I will see you next time. Thank you so much. 7 more videos, but it's snack time. And I'm not just talking about me. But who said that?